Okay, so I've just done a road trip. I've taken the D200, the grand old Nikon, out to the goldfields. If you've watched part one to this video, you'll know what I'm about to say. My mother disappeared in 1990, but we know where she was buried, and this is our second ever visit to go and see her grave, but we don't know where she was for the actual last 17 years of her life after she disappeared. Now this is Ballarat, and I made the perfect rookie mistake on a road trip. I forgot to bring my lanyard with the magnetic thing to hold the Nano camera, so I'm having to hold the DJI Nano on a bulldog clip on my pocket. And I even forgot to bring my selfie stick to stick it on the top of that. I was in too much of a rush to get out because we haven't been out here for nearly 4 years. We haven't had a good car for 4 years. We finally got that new Jayco car, which I'll show you in a minute. So this Ballarat Gardens, at the end of this gardens, is where my grandfather's memorial is for he was a prisoner of war. So I always walk through this gate and I just have a quick thought to myself and say hello to my grandfather. And I was feeling a bit monochrome at the time. I was thinking I should shoot monochrome, but I've never shot monochrome on the D200 yet. Because it's a CCD sensor, I'm just using it for film-like photos. And that brings me to a few other points. When we looked at the D200 back in 2008, we were going to go on a cruise ship, and we're still shooting film cameras back then. I had the K1000, which, as I say, go back and watch part one video. That cruise, I wanted to take a digital camera with me rather than try and carry film, because film's a bit iffy, especially even back then with the X-ray machines at airports. So we had a look at the Canon 400D and the Nikon 200D. Nothing to do with D. The Canon was $1,600 with two kit lenses, and we still got the 400D. The Nikon was about $2,800 with one lens. Now, money wasn't an option. We had $65,000 sitting in the bank because we were actually trying to build a house at the time, so we were prepared to spend up to $5,000 on a camera if it was a good camera. I know that sounds funny. That's my little white car there. So the decision ended up coming down to the Canon 400D because we thought CMOS was the future. 18 years later, in June this year, I finally brought the D200 that I was looking at. And I didn't pay much. There you go, there's my car. And I love that moonroof because I can take reflection photos. And I might make a video soon because I've still got the Canon 400D and we can compare it to what the D200 shoots. Now, how do you like this Mercury car? 1950 Americana Mercury car. I think they call it a Mercury slider car because it goes straight down to the ground. And I got permission from the owner to go and shoot in it as well. And then he went across the road to the hotel pub over the road with the Harley Davidson motorcycle rider. The other video I'm going to make up soon is the Minolta 303 Dynax camera. I shot the Minolta camera, some photos in film, cinematic film, ECN2, of this car, and I shot the same photos with this D200, but I thought that might just be too much complex for the one video. So I'll make another video soon comparing the Minolta film camera against the CCD sensor of the D200. And yes, there is a blacksmith working in here as well. This is Creswick, by the way. Sorry, I should have told you that. Creswick is a town that my wife's family have been in for the last century. So every time we go to Creswick, we pop out to the cemetery. We visit various relatives of her. I think it's her great auntie who got married a dozen times or so and got husbands buried all over the cemetery. But we go and visit all these graves in Creswick Cemetery. My car again. I might have to do something about starting the page of this car. I keep taking photos of my car. I wouldn't mind that car though. These are D200 photos. I should have told you that before. Now the issue I have with the D200 is I'm still trying to figure out how to get the exposure right for the nighttime photography. And I do love how this CCD sensor is actually working. These photos aren't edited on Lightroom. All I did was shoot in RAW, and I just click auto, and then I save the file. And it's shooting perfect. So why spend $10,000 on a new Nikon when you can get the same sort of thing with this? That little video there was actually shot with the D200. All right, so this is what we were driving on. Country road after country road after country road. We've got the DJI Nano equipped to the front of the... I can't remember what I equipped it on there. I think I equipped it on the seat behind me and zoomed in on it. It's never-ending roads out there and never-ending potholes. All right, spoiler alert. This is Clunes bookstores. It's the book town, right? There's a bookstore 1, 2, 3 over there. Once again, it's a perfect setting for a CCD sensor. 140, 150-year-old buildings and old cars left, right and centre in this town. I did feel like I was going back in time, and I was carrying the right camera to be out shooting photos. I mean, what is it, 18 years old? 17, 18 years, 18, 19. Yeah, it's about 2007, 2008, my model. So it's quite an old camera. And I get nervous with these old cameras because DSLRs have that first letter, digital. And as much as I love them, I scroll between the D50, the D70 and the D200, so I don't work one of these three cameras to death. You know, I don't want to bust it too much. You know what I'm going to point out? There's the car again. And look, I can't park straight. I'm used to being on the Vespa. And that's my wife showing photos of me. Once again, D200. You wouldn't even think that was such an old camera. Photos are great. My composition was a bit over the place at times, but I was just getting out and loving using the camera. I wasn't focusing too much on what I was trying to compose. And that was weird. With the D200, if you chuck it into P mode, it can solve some of my exposure mode problems. I didn't put the photos up on here, but I got 3 photos in St Arnaud that came out almost black when I was in center mode. But when I chucked it into aperture priority, chucked over the P mode, the photos came out perfectly. So I'm still doing something wrong in the censoring when I'm in aperture mode. Right, we're at Maryborough now. I did plan on taking a lot of photos here, but I got attacked by a plover bird. If you don't know what a plover is, they swoop around your head and they squawk at you. If you do not listen to them, their talons will come out and attack the top of your head. So I went over to the Croquet Club, which is in that building in the shadow behind my car, and I thought I'd get some photos of the car. But I nearly got scalped by a bird. And I didn't tell you this yet, we've got the 50mm lens on the D200 in all these photos. So it's very hard to put this classic photos in. That's the moonroof again. Moonroof again, and over behind that sign is where the plover is. Okay, we're driving around the suburbs of Clunes. It's that big a town that you have got endless suburbs. And look at all these lovely period houses. We are trying to find a place to live in 6 years' time, and when I retire, I want to live in a town where photography is actually possible and where history is still alive and where there's a shopping centre and a hospital and maybe a fire station in case dementia kicks in and I burn the house down. And the DJI Nano, who needs a dash cam when you can mount? I can mount this camera anywhere in the car. And I've been doing my videos on this channel with the camera mounted behind me. This is Roth's car, I believe. Roth's car, south or west, and I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. I wanted some canola. You see how I'm having to hold the Nano? I'm holding it up between my fingers. And I wanted rustic old farm equipment, and it absolutely stinks out here. Those things in the background are sheep sheds, shearing sheds. And the farmer is up there somewhere, but I kept the car on the side of the road. That's as far off the road as I want to take it. This is a front wheel transverse motor. You know, we don't have four-wheel drive in this car. And that is how I keep my camera gear, all stored in the back. Right, D200. Is this not perfect for landscape? And putting my hand up, I am not a landscape photographer. I haven't done landscape much in 12 years. I've been in the city that time. I used to do landscape. Okay, St Arnaud we're in now. See the cemetery list there? That is where my mum is. We've got to get there before it closes. Wife's buggered off to the toilet, so I've got out and had a quick shoot at the Botanic Gardens. I think it's St Mary's Gardens, don't quote me. And these are the last photos I shot in the town with the D200. Because by this stage, we're getting close to 6 o'clock. By the time we get out of the cemetery, it was actually getting too dark for the D200, but I'll talk about that in a minute. You can see the orange of the sunset coming in. That shed's for sale, $270,000, zone commercial, residential, and something else. And it's an American picker's dream inside there. It's still full of mechanics gear going back a century. All those sheds from right to the end there. Once again, we want to own a shed. That shed would be perfect. This is why I wanted to go to St Arnaud, okay? Yes, I wanted to see my mother's grave. And once again, watch part 1. You know how much me and my mother didn't get along. I mean, I was 15 and she tried to traffic me to a man in Europe. So, you know, I was a victim of child trafficking. But you can watch that in the other video. This is what the town's good for, murals. It has murals everywhere and they're monochrome. And I love monochrome. I've got a lot of monochrome videos on this channel. And there's all these monochromatic murals. And it's just beautiful. And there's a lot more I'll show you some in a second. And each mural has a story. There's a lot of work in this town. This is the final resting place of my mother. All right, that's all we'll say on that. The fire station's for sale too. We have got, I think we've got there yet. Yes, we're on the D3200 camera at the moment. Why? Because it's too hard for me to figure out night settings with this camera. I'm working on that at the moment. The D3200 I have had for about a year and used it 5 times in 12 months. I'm not sure why. But this is the longest walk I've done with the camera. 30-minute this walk went through, but I don't keep the photos going for 30 minutes. I just went out chasing the murals in the town and having a look what it was like. My family have been in this town since the 1890s, yet I've only been here twice, and I don't know why my family are here, and I don't know how many of them are left in this town. It's just something for me to investigate. But you've got to love the murals of this town. So with the D3200, I fell in love with it watching Tudor Smith's photography channel. All right, people. Stay safe. Have fun. I will talk to you later in this week with another D200 video I've got to show you from Richmond, Victoria. Ciao.